How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to BryceBits, where you can get a little bit of wisdom. I'm Bryce Newberger, a pastoral mentor with Side-by-Side Counseling based here in Arizona. And let's dive on in. Now, I want to be honest and genuine with you guys. I record these episodes through OBS, Open Broadcasting System, something like that. There's a stream button and a record button. So I was giving you guys just the best episode of your lives, but I streamed it on accident, which goes to a Twitch channel I don't think I'm even associated with anymore. But I wonder if anyone was watching. That's funny. So my mistake. We're going to go through this again, but I've already kind of read and reacted to this. I'm going to give you my best take. So let's go through this one more time for me, first time for you. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my mom after she crashed my first date in 2 years? Okay, so I'm 19 female, not the most social person. I've struggled with anxiety for years. My first take, I paused and I said, hey, anxiety is personal for everyone. If you're going through anxiety, I want you to know it's unique for everyone. It manifests differently based on nature, nurture, where it comes from, all of that. So if you're going through anxiety, I want to take a moment to honor that and also say that no one really knows how you feel. There might be similarities in like heart racing, panic attacks, right? What causes anxiety? There might be similarities, but the triggers are personal. It's unique to you. So I just want to take a moment to honor anxiety and say, okay, nobody knows what you're going through but you, and I want to give some room for that to breathe. All right. As this was going to be my first date since high school, so that's the interesting thing. First date since high school. Struggle with anxiety. Okay. First date in 2 years. So this person hasn't dated since they were 17. Now they're 19. I don't think that's terrible. I'm not a big fan of the young dating scene, like two immature people trying to figure out relationships. There's always room to grow in those. So not a terrible thing that she hasn't dated since she was 17. I met a guy through mutual friends. We've been texting for a couple weeks, and I finally felt comfortable enough to meet up with him. I wish I could give you the genuine reaction that I had when I first read this, because it says, my mom and I, you'll see when we get to the date. My mom and I have always had a bit of a rocky relationship. She's super protective to the point where I sometimes feel like I can't breathe. Ever since I was a kid, she's always wanted to know where I am, who I'm with, what I'm doing, and I get it. She's a mom, but sometimes it's too much. Like, she'll text me 10 times in a row if I don't answer within 5 minutes. Okay, so I had already explained that this is called devouring mother syndrome. When a mom doing her motherly best is actually eating her children like an old mythological painting. This is not good. This is not healthy. Yes, mothers are prone to this behavior, but kids need to live and exercise their own rights. And so honestly, this could be a major source of her anxiety, can come from this devouring mother syndrome. So I told her about the date, which I now realize was my first mistake. She seemed way too excited about it, kept asking me what I was going to wear, where we were going, etc. She even offered to drop me off, which I politely declined because I'm 19 and I think I can manage getting to a cafe on my own. Thanks. So the date was going well. He was really sweet and we were having a nice time. About 30 minutes in, I noticed someone familiar walking into the cafe. It was my mom. She spotted us, came over, and sat down at the table. So my initial reaction was like, no, Mom, don't. This is terrible. Mom, don't do this. Don't do this, Mom. This is not good. This is, yeah. Someone mentions like a sitcom. I think in the previous post I was reading, this is like a sitcom. I was mortified. Yeah, you are. She started making small talk with him, asking where he was from, what his intentions were, basically giving him the third degree right in front of me. I couldn't even look at him. I just wanted to disappear. He was clearly uncomfortable, and after about 10 minutes, he made an excuse to leave. I don't blame him. He doesn't have the right to kick your mom out from the date. It's the first date with you. So you're the only one who can ask your mom to leave. For all he knows, you planned this, right? So this is not good. Hopefully he's reading body language and seeing that you're not okay with this. But him making an excuse to leave is actually a healthy boundary for him. He doesn't deserve that. So getting out of there is okay. After he left, but I hope he gives you what I was saying is I hope he gives you a justified apology. I hope it's like, because it's an apology, but it's one of those, hey, I'm sorry. I couldn't take that. I had to leave. And that was good and healthy for him to do, but the apology's still kind of nice. After he left, I freaked out on her. Good. Telling her she had no right to show up and ruin my date. That is perfect boundary setting. You're doing a great job setting that boundary. Her response, I was just making sure he was good enough for you. You should be grateful I care so much. Yeah, that's not great. So one part of devouring, like suffering from having a devouring mother, is the gaslighting of nurture, right? I'm just trying to protect you. I'm just keeping you safe. As they eat you, right? So, and you have no life of your own. You have no autonomy. You suffer from anxiety, right? So this is not, mom's not looking good here. I haven't spoken to her since, and I feel like I'm suffocating in my own house. Yeah, that makes sense. My dad says I'm overreacting and I should apologize because she just loves me. Dad, no. Dads do this. My own dad does this where, like, my mom's great, but my mom, if she has an outburst or misbehaves, and it could maybe come from her own sense of protecting her kids, being motherly. All mothers kind of struggle with that detachment, that letting go period. That's kind of normal. This is not normal. But when moms, like, my mom can overstep her boundaries and we'll have to set that boundary. My dad can be like, oh, she just loves you. Just apologize, right? It's just understand. That's good, healthy dad energy. Like, I love that about dads when they do that. But here, like I said, that gaslighting element of you set a healthy boundary and communicated effectively. That's what you did. You said, Mom, this is not okay. You have no right to do this. And the one thing you could have done better, and this is like, if we were working in sessions, I would want you to find the strength to eventually set that boundary immediately. Like the moment your mom showed up at that cafe, for you to have in front of your date say, Mom, this is not okay. You need to leave. Or look at your date and be like, hey, we need to go somewhere else. I'm so sorry, for my mom's misbehavior here. Because you set a good boundary, a healthy boundary, you communicated well, and dad is undoing that. And what can happen is, so we'll wrap up with this though. But I'm so angry, I don't know how to move past this. Am I the a-hole for cutting her off? Okay, so here's the problem when it comes to apologizing. You communicated effectively and set a healthy boundary. And now, if you apologize, or once it becomes water under the bridge, and it will be. Like you said, cutting off your mother, I don't think you cut her off. Like, I don't think you cut her off. I think you're just not talking to her for a little bit. Cutting her off is like moving out of the house, right? Moving away and never, like, blocking her number and never talking to her again. That's cutting off your mom, right? She falls ill and needs hospice when she's in her old age, and you're like, you're on your own, old woman. All right, that's cutting off your mom. I don't think you're cutting off your mom. You're maintaining boundaries while you process this. As you said at the end, you're so angry you don't know how to move past it. So we'll talk about that in a second. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to apologize and undo the healthy boundary, right? So you told her that was inappropriate, and that was correct. It was inappropriate. You told her she can't do that. She can't do that. Not talking to her for a while is probably smart. You're angry, and I would say it's probably good that you haven't talked to her yet, because you said everything you needed to say, and you drop the mic, right? Like you said it, you dropped the mic, and she needs to sit on that. She needs to ruminate on that. You need to sit on it. You need to ruminate on it. Anything you add to that moment could muddy the boundary you set and the communication that was so effective that you already had. Your mom needs to know that's not okay. She needs help for her devouring mother syndrome. You need help to get out of that situation. And so I would say, this is good. You're doing good. It seems rough right now that you're in this. I would say if we were in sessions, I would want to take that anger, and the anger was useful. That was useful anger. You said that you blew up on her. You used your anger to set healthy boundaries, to set healthy to communicate what was inappropriate. One thing that's so sad about toxic relationships is when you find anger and you find with that anger came courage and the strength to finally speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself. Because it comes out when you're angry, people like your dad can be like, oh, that was terrible. Like, how could you say that in that way? I just want to applaud your anger for a moment. I want to reward your anger and say, as a pastor, the Bible says, in your anger, sin not, which means don't sin when you're angry, which means you can be angry and not sin. And I don't think that you've done anything wrong here with your anger. I think this was a healthy outburst. Now that you're so angry, you don't know how to move past this. If we were in sessions, I would want to continue to mobilize that anger and help turn that wasted anger, right? Like that energy that's just kind of going everywhere because you're angry and you need to burn it, and continue to turn it into useful anger. Can we drive you to rebuild that relationship with this date that was going so well, right? And to maintain boundaries? Can we drive that to help you get out of this house and to find an apartment? Or I don't know what your situation is, right? Can you move in with a roommate or something? But it definitely seems like you're probably not in a situation where your mom is going to work on herself anytime soon, especially with your dad making excuses for her. So getting out of the house when you can is smart. I mean, you're already an adult. You're already graduated. You're out of high school. So some people, they've got a good situation. They don't have parents with maladaptive behaviors, so they can live with their parents for a long time. And I don't have any rocks to throw at them. That's okay. That's fine. That's awesome when parents can be supportive and healthy like that. But there does come a time to move on, right? And for you, it might be sooner than later. So once you kind of process that anger, you'll be ready to talk to your mom again in a way that doesn't undo the boundaries you're setting. And I would hope that we could mobilize the anger to set more healthy boundaries for you. Let's wrap up and see what other people have to say about this. Okay. Not the a-hole. I understand just from this how you could feel like you're suffocating. Yep, distance between you and your mother would be healthy for you. Yeah, it would probably help with your anxiety. You can grow to your potential. How can you grow to your potential in her shade? Yeah, I don't think her shade is necessarily holding you back. Right? Shade, like growing in someone's shadow, almost speaks more to like if my dad was like a Pulitzer Prize, Nobel winning prize doctor or something. And I'm looking at his accomplishments and I'm feeling like I need to be a doctor as well, when really I'm not called to be a doctor, right? That kind of like casting a shadow. This is just a mom devouring you. It's not about getting it in her shade. It's about getting out of her mouth, getting away from her grasping, clawing hands. But I would actually want you to repair that relationship, and that's going to be healthy for you. If you just get away from her and that's it, that's going to hurt you. That relationship is not being fixed, is not going to be good long term. So we want to fix your relationship with your mom. We want to repair it. We don't want to just throw the car out because it needs an oil change, right? Not the a-hole, sorry, but your mom sounds creepy as hell. It is so inappropriate for her to show up at your date, let alone sit at the table and start questioning the guy. Yeah, that's bad. That's not good. That is not good. Don't like it. Okay. Not the a-hole. Your mom was incredibly inappropriate. She seems emotionally mature and does not make for a good parenting experience. It's true. Whatever consequences you decide to enact are justified. I don't know about writing a blank check for consequences, right? There's appropriate consequences. I think you set a good boundary. I think not talking to her for a while you process is good. But cutting her off for the rest of her life because of this one thing, I don't think so. Right. So let's temper that advice a little bit. Again, that's the danger of the internet. And so if this information has been useful for you, if you're dealing with difficult parenting situations, if you're a child who is being devoured by your parents, if you are a parent who struggles with devouring your own children, if you're an older adult who no longer has parents in your life, but you were devoured by them growing up, and you want to do some of this work with me, you can schedule a free counseling or a free consultation with me at sidebysideaz.com, and we can just chat for a little bit, see if we're a good fit. I've got no problem referring you to someone else if we don't work out. But yeah, that's been this one, guys, and I will see you on the next one.